Hello, everyone. Today I wanted to make a video about the fact that people over and over have asked me, what does INFJ stand for? It's like four letters. You don't understand them. They're kind of complicated. And in this video, I wanted to cover exactly what an INFJ is. I wanted to make it super simple. So sort of an explain it to me like I'm five kind of video. And over the years of studying this, I have found a way to make it very simple. So let's get started. The first letter, I, of INFJ, it stands for introvert. Now, this one's pretty simple, really, when you think about it. Everybody knows what introverts and extroverts are. And to put it very simply, what an introvert is somebody who gains energy from being alone, someone who focuses on their inner world instead of their outer world. So if you go out and you gain energy and you feel more energetic and refreshed from being around people, you're an extrovert. Whereas if you are someone who comes home and stays alone to recharge and gain energy, you're an introvert. So that's the first letter. Now, the second letter is where a lot of people get tripped up because it starts to get complicated here because the N stands for intuition. So intuition is that most famous part of the INFJ, really. It's the part that makes people call us psychic. It's the part where people say we're fortune tellers or we can see the future. And that's because we use our intuition to, I'm going to use a big word here just because I can't think of another word, but extrapolate about what's going to happen in the future. So we see ahead, we see patterns very well, and we say this pattern is happening again. Therefore, I predict that this event, whatever it is going to happen in the future. That's sort of the way we do it. We go by our gut feel. We are very good at that. And because we're good at that, we often get labeled as kind of weird or different. We're able to see things that others can't. They don't believe us. A lot of times they say, how do you know that's going to happen? There's no reason to think that's going to happen. And you're like, well, yeah, there is. I can see this happening. And so that's the second letter, intuition. Third letter, F. So the F stands for feeling, and specifically it stands for extroverted feeling, okay? That means that we are particularly good at feeling others' emotions. And I think this is so important to realize. Sometimes we may not even know how we feel exactly, but we feel the vibe, we feel the energy, we feel exactly how other people are feeling. We're just very, very good at it. Now, can it get complicated sometimes because somebody may be upset about something else and we think they're upset about this other thing? That can happen, but I cannot emphasize to you the power of being able to pick up these nuances from other people. And it really does freak people out because everyone out there kind of wears a mask. And the INFJ can see through that mask. So when we ask somebody, how are you doing? And they say, well, I'm doing good. We can tell right there. And if you're watching this, you could probably see it. You're like, he's not doing well. I can see it. I can feel it. This guy's not doing well. And because of that, sometimes we may try to help that person. We may probe a little deeper. And if they're not ready to open up, if they really were trying to hide that feeling, here you are, Mr. or Mrs. Detective INFJ, you figured it out, and they feel kind of exposed. Another thing about this extroverted feeling that's very important, you're going to absorb energy from other people. Now, that could be good energy. That could mean that you're out there, you're with some people that energize you, they think deeply, they're talking about things that you're interested in, they accept you. You'll gain positive energy off of that. But all too often, what happens is you're out there and other people are giving you negative energy. Maybe they're not accepting you into the group. Maybe they are in the process. I know this sounds crazy. Well, it's not really crazy, but they're mistreating other people and you're exposing that. So you're like, why are you leaving this guy over here out? Let's welcome him in. And they're like, no, we were leaving him out for a reason. So there's all these things that can happen. You're going to pick up energy. So remember that when you go out in groups, it could go either way. A lot of the times it is in the negative direction. And finally, we have the J. The J is also very confusing. It stands for judging. And in our modern culture, that word judging, it's not got a positive connotation. People think negatively of judging, but we don't judge in the way that you think of judging. That's not what that word means in the MBTI. It actually means you prefer structure. It doesn't mean you judge other people, even though sometimes we do that. It means that you prefer structure. You prefer planning. You prefer to have an agenda that is going to be carried out. You prefer to think ahead and to plan. And other introverts, I had an introvert friend who we kind of went together well because his last letter was a P. He was a perceiver. And he was spontaneous. So I remember, I'll give you an example of this. Once I spent weeks thinking, when I was in my early 20s, I wanted to go to Miami. I wanted to go to South Beach, Miami. I mean, when you're young, you think that this is going to be some crazy, magical thing. I wanted to go, so I went over there, and I remember I told him, I want to go to Miami. And he was like, today? And I said, well, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. And so anyway, we ended up going the next day because he was totally fine with being spontaneous like that, whereas I'd thought about it for weeks to plan that trip out. So that's the way that even introverts can differ sometimes. And so just remember, judging stands for order. And if you remember those things, I think you're going to understand much better what INFJ stands for. You're going to understand your personality a lot better, and I think you're just going to get through life that much easier. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have not watched this video, please do so next, and I'll talk to you again soon.